Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lyle jumping in real quick before you start listening to the episode. I just wanted to point something out. We're coming up on our Halloween episode soon, and one of the ideas me and Andy had was that people could send us in ghost stories that they had, like something creepy or something like that, some spooky story. Doesn't even necessarily have to be a ghost story, just something spooky that's happened to you in the past. I thought it'd be cool if we got our fans involved with this episode, and just have you guys tell us something scary that's happened. We're just gonna kind of tack it on at the end of the episode. So if you got a cool story or something like that, send it in, email it to me, or talk to me on Facebook, the Side Splitters Facebook page, or email it to me at lasidesplitters@gmail.com. Uh, you can either record it yourself, or you can just message me and just set up a date or something like that, and we'll try to record it that way. Whatever's easiest for you, we'll do it that way. All right? Cool. Enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of the Side Splitters. My name is Lyle,
My name is Andy.
and our goal tonight is to leave you in stitches. Andy, what's going on?
It is getting increasingly busy as the time goes on for me. Adult things to do. Still, I know. I feel like I'm like a broken record when it
Oh my
comes to
God!
this.
Blah
But like,
blah blah. Wedding. I'm going to tell you what I did this weekend.
what did you do this weekend?
Well, not this weekend. Specifically, more in my downtime. When I
Okay.
wasn't doing things. I fell upon a new YouTube channel that I am kind of falling in love with here. It's
Oh, yeah?
the YouTube channel is called First We Feast, but they do a show called Hot Ones. And
I've heard of it.
I freaking love it. It's where there's this one guy that interviews people. It's a bunch of celebrities, like musicians, actors, athletes, what have you. And they eat chicken wings. And the idea is with every question that the interviewer asks, and it's just, questions about their past, about what they have in the future, things they said, pictures of themselves, stuff like that. With every chicken wing, it gets increasingly hotter until eventually the hot sauce that's on the chicken wing is so ridiculously hot that, like, their face is literally melting. Like, they're just covered in sweat and they can't think properly anymore. It's so funny. It's a great show. Great concept.
Yeah, that's the thing I like about it the most is the concept. Like, I like the idea of like trying to have somebody concentrate on answering like a simple question and be like, you can tell me what some of your influences. Water, milk. Like, water and milk were your influence?
Yeah.
No, I'm dying.
So I just want to point out before we get any further into the show, I am developing a bit of a cold here. I don't know what's going on.
I can hear it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm sure everyone can. But bear with me, people.
Well, I'm deaf.
I just want to point out, I still record when I have a cold. Just want to throw that out there. I didn't want to skip a week because, I had a little cold or something. Like some people whose we won't mention names of.
Uh-huh. See, when I have an illness, my body just shuts down. Like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, I do too. It's called you be an adult and you do things you're supposed to do anyway.
No.
No, you can't
No.
make me.
I don't want to be an adult. If I get sniffles, I want my blankie poo.
I've been doing all kind of adult stuff. I don't want to be an adult.
I don't. I'm being dragged kicking and screaming through this whole process, let me tell you.
One other exciting thing that happened to me, actually, it happened a few days ago, but the fruit of the labor happened today. So a few days ago, I get a message from Eric from Countdown to Geek Town. I guess he listened to the last episode and heard about me talking about those potato chips, the whole shebangs, the one that typically you can only find them in correctional facilities. And I haven't been able to find them at all outside of correctional facilities, no matter how hard I searched. Well, apparently he took it upon himself to do a little research himself. And he found a link on Amazon for what appeared to be some guy just randomly selling them. Somehow he had access to them. I don't know maybe he was a correctional officer. I don't know. And he sent me the link, and I'm looking at it. They wanted like $18 for a bag. I wasn't that desperate, so I said no. But I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, who would pay for that? And I start looking at the reviews, and there's this one-star review that says, Don't waste your time here. It's way overpriced, and besides, the company has started selling them online. And I'm like, oh, and he even is nice enough to lead you in the direction of the website. So I go to the website, and I am now the proud owner of 6 large bags of the whole shebang potato chips. They came in today. As soon as they came in, I just cracked one open and took a big, deep breath and smelled everything I could, what with this congestion.
Mm.
And my God, they were just marvelous. And of course, I ate like half the bag as I'm starting dinner. So,
Did out of curiosity, taking that smell in, did it bring back any particular memories?
it's funny you asked that because no, it didn't. Just to answer your question real quick, but the
Oh well,
reason
that's boring.
it is, but hear me out because here's something interesting. There's certain things that will literally make me sick to my stomach now because of that. Um, Ramen noodles. If I smell ramen noodles cooking, oh my God, it's like, ugh. I smelt that smell for way too long because that's like the only thing people made in that place. Uh, they didn't take it a step beyond and start stealing, razors so they can have themselves some orange zest and stuff like that.
So ridiculous.
So because I was the only one with that kind of initiative, everyone else was kind of subjected to just straight up ramen noodle diets for the most part. So naturally, the hint and just not even hint, the stench of ramen noodles was constantly filling the air. So anytime I smell that, it immediately just puts me in a bad place. And specific, I don't know if it's just the brand, but Dove soap, Dove body bars of soap.
Because
There's
of
a
how often you dropped it, or
no, that's what we used. That was the best soap you can buy. They gave you, they gave you soap that was like, state issued, and it was awful. It would make your skin dry out, and it was just so bad. It smelled terrible. As a matter of fact, if I smell that, which I do every once in a while, that also triggers it because that's pretty much what the whole place smells like is that soap.
huh?
So because I don't know, I guess because they had so much of it, and it's the most strong smelling thing that they had an abundance of. So you smelled it like in the areas where inmates were, you smelled ramen noodles. You go anywhere else in the jail, it smells like that whatever kind of soap that was. I think it was Dial that was the state issued soap. But Dove, there's a specific type of Dove soap that I'm not fond of neither because of that. So certainly not the potato chips, but there are things that will trigger memories. Not even so much memories, just remembering that smell just triggers bad juju, bad vibes.
No, I get that every once in a while too. Like from horseradish, like I cannot stand the smell of horseradish, uh, and that's just because of my one of my good friends' father, who decided to overload a sandwich with it one time and made me incredibly sick.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
too much horseradish is definitely a bad thing. I mean, it's to me it's okay. A little hint of it sometimes with a nice roast beef sandwich or something like that, but certainly too much is too much.
it's not even appetizing either. I mean, like honestly, like what part of a horse would you call a radish and want to take a bite out of it? It's gross.
Yes, it is, Andy.
Ugh.
It's very gross. So, but go ahead. Let's hear about your adulting for a little bit as I get ready clickbait news here.
Oh no, it's just so we've had to change catering like 3 times now. 3 times. We're 17 days away as of this recording. We are 17 days away from the wedding, and I had to change caterers like 2 days ago. Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. It's rough, but I like it, and I think people are gonna like it too. At least get a kick out of it. I know I do. Actually, just thinking about the catering makes me kind of
Is
giggle
it
to
is
myself.
it is it something you're willing to share, or is it
Oh
something
yeah,
that?
actually, so here we go. All right, so we were looking at. All right, so the reason why we had to change caterers so many times is because we relied on family to do catering, and either family or friends, and everything just kind of like bottomed out. People were like, oh, first they offer like, no, absolutely, we have no problem doing the catering for your guys' wedding. It'll be our wedding present. I'm like, fantastic. I have no problem with that at all. And then it gets closer to the day, and they're like, actually, when I said I did, I really don't feel like it. Like, I'm sure there's
Jeez.
other reasons for it, but I mean, some people, I guess, just couldn't either didn't want to deal with it or whatever, too much work. I don't know. But we never got that catering done. And then we're like, yeah, screw it. We are going to hire a caterer. At least then if a business decides to say no, they can be held accountable for it. So we actually went with. So what kind of food would you think would be at a wedding where the last names are Diaz and Cruz?
Okay, so not thinking of it as your wedding, just Diaz and Cruz.
Yeah,
Probably, Spanish rice and beans. Uh, yeah, the usual Spanish
yeah,
dishes.
yeah, the usual stuff. Yeah, yeah. So knowing me, what do you think we're gonna have there?
Barbecue and continental.
Oh no.
Willy Wonka's factory. I don't. Knowing you, that's like saying, okay, so if you were to play the lottery, what would be the seventh number you would pick?
Epsilon.
And I don't mean the seventh number as in the seventh ball that's going to be revealed. I mean out of all the double digits and everything, what is the seventh number that is going to show up? that's that's what you're yeah, that's what you do to me. Go ahead.
We got a Chinese place to cater.
Of course you did. 'Cause who doesn't like Chinese, right?
Right? Very reasonably priced too, and freaking large ass portions.
As is Chinese food.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it doesn't even matter if people are gonna be hungry, like an hour later. Like there's still gonna be plenty. So yeah, went with that, and I could not be happier. I'm like, yes.
Which one?
It's the walk in the shop right on Dulcie Drive.
Oh, so it's the ShopRite one.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't know they catered. That's cool.
yeah, I didn't know that either.
So on Delsey Drive, you're talking about the one towards Millville?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's cool.
Although it was a bit of a challenge because their English is terrible. Uh, like trying to get the idea across that no, I'm not trying to fill up a styrofoam container and pay for an individual weight. Like, I mean, we want to cater an event. Because apparently she talked to somebody on the phone that was really good with English who wasn't there at the store when we went in to talk about details. So
Right.
left all of our information though, like phone numbers and what we wanted and when it had to be done by and everything like that. And hopefully, like we're not just like oh hey yeah we're showing up for the food and then they're like what you want food? Like no, wait a minute.
Let me get you styrofoam container.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes, but yeah, that ought to be fun. I also have to get you a new address because reception hall changed.
Yeah, I don't think you want to announce that on here.
Uh, uh,
Better safe than sorry, man. You don't want to be swatted on your wedding day.
right? No. I'm not saying where it is because honestly, I don't even know.
Great.
Dude, all I care about is the wedding. Like that's it. Like the ceremony. Once the ceremony's done, like boom. Like I don't care what the hell happens for the rest of the night.
That's kind of how I took things too. I was just like, you know what? Once I'm actually I dude, I don't care for after that.
Yeah, once I did, I am done.
Right. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the start of the show here.
Oh right, we're doing a show. Shit, I thought we were just talking.
No. With everyone's favorite segment here, clickbait news.
Yay!
Yay. We're gonna just jump right in here, and I'm going to ask you. I want you to tell me
Hmm.
what did what did the guards catch the inmate eating twice?
Twice.
Yes.
I mean, the gross answer is poop. But if I had to say anything else, it would probably be his cellmate.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. The first answer you gave me is half right.
Oh, ugh.
Guards caught him eating meth-filled balloons, and then when they
Meth.
passed, When they passed, he ate them again.
Okay, I was wondering what you meant by half right. Ugh.
So, a husband and wife scheme to smuggle drugs in the prison quickly veered into the realm of disgusting in Warren County, Ohio. People, bear with me. I am not in the best condition to be reading an article right now, but I'm going to power through it. Candy McCary was visiting her husband Casey McCary in prison and managed to smuggle several balloons filled with methamphetamine in them in her bra to give to her husband. Casey McCary was able to swallow 4 of the balloons while visiting with his wife before correctional officers stopped him. Officials then put McCary in a dry cell to wait for the balloons to pass through his system. Dry cell is a cell that has no running water, so no toilet, no sink,
Uh,
nothing.
okay.
So in other words, once he passes them, they are able to just go in and get it.
Right.
After 5 days, he eventually did pass the balloons, but before guards could take them, he began eating, quote, all evidence of the passing, including his own feces, the drugs, and the balloons again. Which, you know, you're just gonna poop them out again.
Right? You're gonna be stuck in this endless cycle.
Open the balloons, eat them, and be like, yeah, I just wanted to swallow some balloons. There's nothing in here.
Although I don't know what that would do to your system if you just ate that much meth.
Oh yeah, because eating poop-covered balloons is fine.
Yeah,
Look, you're
because it's
already
not.
you're already down this road, man. You might as well just go to it. Anyway,
If anything else, I would open up the balloons and like do like arts and crafts with the meth inside and the poop. Be like, all right, well, if you want the evidence that bad, here it's smeared in this crap.
yeah, and they're just going to take a sample of it, take it to the lab, and they're going to, that's not going to work. You have to eat it, man. Anyway,
Eh,
finally, 4 days later, Casey McCary passed the balloons a second time, and guards were able to retrieve them. Prosecutor David Fornshell said on Facebook, "Do you know where this meth has been?" Candy McCary, that's the wife, has been arrested and charged with illegal conveyance of drugs into a prison, aggravated possession of drugs, and possession of criminal tools. Casey
wait,
McCary.
hold on. Aggravated possession of drugs.
Possession of drugs, correct.
Was she angry about having drugs? Like, I don't get the term aggravated possession of drugs.
She was probably aggravated that she wasn't able to pull off the scheme she was trying to do.
Oh, fair point. Okay, continue.
Casey McCary had the same 3 charges with the addition of tampering with evidence because he ate the balloons a second time, according to court records. Casey McCary was sentenced to 6 years in prison in 2015 for robbery and had been eligible for early release on New Year's Eve 2019, according to online records from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. Smuggling drugs into prison has long been an issue that has frustrated government officials, as inmates and accomplices have found many ways to bypass security, some less savvy than others. U.S. News and World Report ranks Ohio as one of the worst states in the country for its state prison system efficiency, putting it 43rd out of 50, which I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either that like Ohio was like, oh hey no, state prisons in Ohio are terrible. Like, oh, thank you, random tour guide.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, and it's I mean, okay, so you're going to pass drugs in the visitor center in front of guards.
This is actually common.
Really?
Yeah, like no BS. This is legit a common thing to do. People will come in to visit, usually significant others, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever the case may be, and they'll have the packaged goods, as it were, already packaged in balloons. They'll have them in their mouth, so when they go to give like an open mouth kiss, they can just exchange it, and the inmate can just swallow it, no problem. No one ever sees a thing.
Yeah, but she smuggled it in her bra.
Yeah, she messed up. She's the idiot.
Yeah, like how do you expect to be like? Is he just gonna like go down on her? Like, and people are gonna be like too uncomfortable to watch him swallow balloons out of her bra?
You have to keep in mind that they are not the only people in this visiting center. There's several people being visited at one time, so the cops aren't always going to be watching any specific person at one time. So she can
make it seem like that.
I mean, it could be very nonchalant. Maybe she's just acting like she's adjusting herself and just happens to pull them out. You got to think these aren't like blown up balloons. These are just small balloons that just they're not very big. Is what I'm getting at. It's not hard to smuggle. They messed up somehow. It's
Listen,
just
I am not a lech by any stretch of the imagination, but if a chick keeps adjusting her boobs, I'm gonna watch her.
yeah. If she keeps adjusting her boobs, if she does it once, then she's fine.
Eh,
Anyway, on to story two.
yeah. Let's get away from the meth titties. Yeah.
I need you to tell me what 60-year-old crime Singapore was investigating recently.
A 60-year-old crime?
That's correct, in Singapore.
Oh,
No, I'm
who
sorry. I'm
stole...
sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. What crime did a 60-year-old commit in Singapore?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I read
okay.
that wrong. I'm sorry.
About to say, like, if it was an old crime, I'm like, why? Why are they
Yeah.
even investigating?
Yeah.
All right, so the 60-year-old committed the crime of... he was jaywalking, but it took him, like, 20 minutes to get across the road.
You're going to love this one. Singapore investigates 60-year-old for crime of sticking toothpicks in a bus seat.
What? That's a crime?
A, yeah, man.
Really?
Maybe you're not understanding how he's doing it. A
No.
60-year-old Singaporean man is under investigation for inserting toothpicks.
Singaporean?
Yeah, that's what they have there. Inserting toothpicks
Wow.
into a seat on a public bus, a suspected case of mischief that could put him behind bars for up to 2 years, the police said on Tuesday. Through extensive inquiries with the assistance of CCTV footage, officers established the identity of the suspect. Pictures of 3 toothpicks sticking up from the seat were posted last month by a Facebook user who said she noticed them just as she was about to sit down. Remember to check your seat next time before sitting, guys, she wrote. The post was shared more than 2,500 times. Singapore, a wealthy city-state, has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. However, one of the government's public information slogans is, low crime doesn't mean no crime. Authorities came down hard on minor crimes such as vandalism, which is punishable by caning. And the import of chewing gum, import of chewing gum is banned, in part to keep public spaces clean. 2 years ago, a smoker was fined $19,000, Singapore dollars, I guess, which is $14,000 American, for throwing cigarette ends out of a window of his flat for days. That's a house article, not a flat. Anyway, the police said investigations into the case of toothpicks were continuing. The offense of mischief carries a punishment of imprisonment for up to 2 years, or a fine, or both.
Okay, so first of all, this guy's my hero.
I
Second
figured.
of all,
I knew. As soon as I seen this story, I was just like, Andy is going to freaking lose his shit when he sees this one.
yeah, like, okay, so, all right, I get, like, okay, no crime, absolutely not. I have seen so many examples where no crime, it's like the heaven complex, man. Yeah, see? Like,
this is what it looks like, the bus seat with the toothpick sticking out.
like, you can see the individual cells of the leather-clad seating.
Yeah.
Like, those are small-ass toothpicks.
Yeah.
Like, but it's gonna be, they're gonna sit down and be like, oh, that's a shop paint on me bum-bum. Or however Singapore people talk.
That's exactly how Singapore people talk, actually. They use the word bum and everything.
So, I mean, he's not going to do any actual damage. So, like, being like 2 years in prison. Oh, so I doubt the Singapore prisons are like regular prisons. If you're gonna put somebody away, a 60-year-old man for, you know, essentially comic mischief, like stuff that supervillains would be busted for on Saturday morning cartoons on friggin', you know, PBS. Like, who's he going to share a prison cell with? Like, you know, the one guy that, you know, put saran wrap on the toilet seat at a public restroom, or you know, the guy that put flour in a hairdryer. Yeah, like he's like an April Fool's bandit.
On to the next story.
This guy, he is my hero. What's his name? Did they have his name?
It does not say his name. Just 60-year-old Singapore guy. I knew he would be your hero. Like, as soon as I read this, I was like, oh my god, Andy's gonna love him. I was like, Andy's gonna picture him as an amateur villain, and like, I predicted everything you were gonna say there. It's so funny.
Well, I am sending a strongly worded letter to Singapore in request of freeing this man.
Good. So I need you to tell me what McDonald's Happy Meals came with. That's the best I got for you. Looks like
Really?
in the Bronx. Okay, in the
Oh, bro.
Bronx.
Okay, I was gonna ask where.
Yeah. What did McDonald's Happy Meals come with?
Drug needs.
Drug needles?
Yeah.
No. McDonald's quote Happy Meals came with a side of cocaine. You were close.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
Bronx.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bronx. Yeah. You were thinking
Queens.
right, Queens. So this was definitely not on the dollar menu. It starts off by saying
About to say they're losing money on that deal.
a night shift manager at a Bronx McDonald's was dishing up more than burgers and fries. He was busted for offering a side of cocaine in his Happy Meals. Authorities caught Frank Guerrero, 26, red-handed during a 3-month undercover investigation dubbed Operation Off the Menu. uh,
Love it.
yeah, I mean, that's just great. Okay. According to the city's special narcotics prosecutor, Bridget Brennan, oh no, it was dubbed that according to her. The conduct was so blatant it would be comical if he weren't committing a serious narcotics crime. Ordering Coke took an entirely different meaning on the night shift at this McDonald's. No, I get it. Soda.
Yeah.
Guerrero allegedly sold cops $10,900 worth of cocaine in 8 separate sales out of the franchise in the Soundview section of the Bronx. Although the eatery only took late-night orders through the drive-thru window, Guerrero allowed his drug customers to enter the main restaurant, officials said. In one sale to an undercover at the counter, he allegedly concealed cocaine in a cookie bag, which he placed inside of a larger McDonald's order of 2 cheeseburgers, a soda, and fries. Other employees were milling about nearby. On another occasion, Guerrero allegedly took a break from flipping burgers to sell $6,250 worth of cocaine to an undercover inside the fast food chain's public bathroom. He had allegedly stashed the drugs inside the restroom soap dispenser earlier, and that the undercover then sat at a booth and ate a McDonald's meal personally delivered by Guerrero. 5 other sales were conducted in the parking lot. Police surveillance allegedly revealed that Guerrero regularly sold cocaine to buyers during his shift. Authorities executed a search warrant on his home where they seized 200 grams of cocaine and $5,300 in cash. Apparently, Lady Cabral Castillo and her 2-year-old child were inside the apartment at the time. He worked at McDonald's for 8 years and was arrested 5 a.m. on Wednesday while wrapping up his shift.
Oh God, where do I even begin? I kind of like the idea of somebody, just actually ordering a Happy Meal with a Coke and not expecting drugs. And like,
Yeah.
if that was the code, it'd just be like, oh, you want a Coke with that Happy Meal? Like, yeah, I'll take a Coke with that Happy Meal.
It's funny because I don't know if you remember, there used to be a sandwich shop in the city that we're both relatively from, Vineland. It was called Crown Market.
Oh yeah.
And they got busted for dealing drugs out of the sandwich shop. And it always made me wonder, like, what there was apparently a secret code that you had to say in order to get the drugs. And it always made me wonder what the code was and if anyone could possibly, order it by mistake. And they just go to bite into, like, their cheesesteak or their Italian hoagie, and they're presented with a bag of oregano that never made it out of the bag onto the sandwich.
I also like the idea of a guy actually like doing the cocaine and the Guerrero checking in on him. They're like, so what do you think of the merchandise? He's like, I'm loving it.
Great. So that's clickbait for this week. Actually, I'm gonna leave this open. So,
God damn it.
speaking of McDonald's, I gotta bring this up, man, real quick. We're gonna jump right out of that and into the McDonald's fiasco that happened last Saturday. Are you aware of this?
Yes, I am. And oh my God, where do I even begin on this?
So, just to keep people in the know here, for those that aren't aware, there's a show called Rick and Morty. Me and Andy are both fans. Specifically, I'm a great fan of it. Andy finally listened to me and watched it. And Eric, you need to do the same thing from Countdown to Geektown. I heard Jesse harp on you about it enough. Like, just get over the petty nonsense that you think the burps are gross. Just watch the damn show. It's hysterical. Shut your mouth and watch it. Don't listen to Reddit. Reddit's full of a bunch of idiots. Just watch the damn show. It's great. Anyway.
Wow. Public service announcement, ladies and gentlemen.
In the episode premiere of season 3, there was a scene, without giving away any spoilers, where there was a few scenes actually where the McDonald's Szechuan sauce made an appearance, and you know, in lieu of spoilers, the guy was going nuts over it. Like, he was saying, just claiming this sauce is amazing, that, you know, this he will do anything for this sauce. But it was to promote the movie Mulan back in 99 or 98, and they obviously since discontinued it. Well, the internet went nuts overnight. Everyone suddenly wanted the Szechuan sauce, and McDonald's was just like, all right, okay.
Like, okay. Whatever, crazy people. Like, we haven't even heard that in, like, over a decade.
You know this is, like, 20 years old, right? So they started giving out, I think they gave out, like, one random customer got, like, a gallon of it in, like, a very special case or something like that. And then, obviously, they also sent the creators of the show, of Rick and Morty, a gallon of it as well, or some large amount for them to try. And they started, I guess they're doing chicken tenders now, which Wendy's is too, and I'll bring that up in a second. So they were like, hey, we're doing chicken tenders, and here's a special event to promote them. It'll be Saturday, October 7th, this past Saturday. And what's going to happen is we're going to have all these crazy works of art that you could come and purchase or something. And we're also bringing back old sauces, like this one that no one cares about, and this one that no one cares about. And Szechuan sauce is finally making a comeback. And it's so funny because the works of art had something to do with each sauce, and for Szechuan, it had nothing to do with Milan. It was just like outer space, aliens, clearly a rip off of Rick and Morty. Yeah, Mick and Morty is what it might as well have been called.
Right.
So apparently they had no affiliation with the show. Like, they didn't say Rick and Morty. It was just a blatant, use of their name without paying for it. But anyway, people didn't care. They're like, oh my god, where do we go? And on the website they had very specific locations for McDonald's that were carrying Rick and Morty or Szechuan sauce. There was one, the closest one to us was Camden, which is like a 30-minute drive. So we didn't go, we didn't get it, whatever. And the next day, I found out that apparently a lot of the places, didn't even know of this promotion. Like, were not told of it, did not have any sauce for people, even though the website clearly stated that this store was supposed to have the sauce. They didn't have it. And the few stores that actually did have the sauce had like 20, maybe 30 little packets of it. And people were pissed.
Yeah, but I was saying, because I even saw that, police were even called to some of these restaurants.
Yeah, because people were
like, yeah. Dude, man, don't mess with people's fast food.
No. More importantly, don't mess with people's obsession. And people obsess over Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that is true.
So, yeah, that was just something I had to touch on and just call to attention. But here's the best part, which is why I brought up the whole chicken tender thing. Because afterwards, I don't know if you've been following any kind of social media with fast food places, but there's two that come to mind that are just like top notch, on top of their game. Burger King had a little stunt that they did that I thought was kind of clever, where they would specifically say certain commands to make any kind of Google Home or what's the Amazon Alexa, whatever it's called. It would make them trigger and look up what a Whopper is. So it was brilliant, right? And kudos to them because it was really smart. But that's kind of all they did. They got a little bit of heat from that. Like, yeah, what are you doing messing with my stuff? And all of a sudden they gave up. They're like, all right, sorry guys, we'll go back to being nobodies. We'll go back to being the fast food you wish wasn't in your town. Meanwhile, Arby's and Wendy's are just like, they're so good with their social media. Arby's started it. They started doing the whole nerd trend thing where, like, they would do just random symbols from random video games that were happening to be coming out or something like that, and they would make the symbols out of like sandwiches and onion rings and mozzarella sticks. And it's just phenomenal. The one time,
I always love them.
yeah, the one time they were promoting something, and it was the same day that Daredevil season 2 was being released on Netflix. So they drew the Punisher skull out of ketchup and said how to stop Matt Murdock or something like that. And I was just like, this is brilliant. But yeah, so that's definitely winning. Wendy's, on the other hand, is taking a different spin on it. Instead of going towards nerdy people, they're just straight up burning people left and right. And they did not hold back at all with this whole McDonald's fiasco, because they were just like, hey guys, we see that McDonald's has chicken tenders. Well, we have chicken tenders now too. And I know they say they got Szechuan sauce. We don't have that, but neither do they. So come get our chicken tenders. It was brilliant. I was just like, oh my god.
Damn, shots fired.
Yeah, seriously. Just straight up savage. It's so great. But yeah, so that's that's that. Just want to touch on that a bit. But let's get right into the football talk though. We're running kind of short here on time.
Oh yeah. Oh right, yeah, smaller episode format. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So something special happened last week, folks.
Says you.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Me and Andy had to go against each other in fantasy football, right? And that was kind of an embarrassment for him because he thought he was going to beat me with his magical, weird, retarded psychic. What did Eric or Jesse call it the one week? the retarded Nostradamus of fantasy football or something like that?
Yeah, retarded fantasy football Nostradamus thing. Yeah.
That's great. Well, he didn't beat me.
Yeah.
you can't beat me. You can't beat me. And he didn't. Not in fantasy, at least, because he whooped my ass with picking teams.
Yeah, I remember being like, specifically against a lot of your decisions on picks.
I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but I will say this much. I got 3 wins last week.
Damn.
So, yeah, I got 3 wins to your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins. So.
Wait, was one of them the upset? Because I remember there was an upset pick.
Upset pick. Well, if there was an upset pick, it's hard to say because this year, man, it's a real weird year. Like, there's just teams that aren't typically that good that are doing well, teams that are typically really good that are not doing well. Like, it's
Oh,
crazy.
Browns. Did the Browns win?
The Browns did not win.
Oh, damn it.
The Browns are 0-5, the Giants are 0-5, and the 49ers are 0-5. Other than that, the Chiefs are 5-0.
Wow.
So, there you go. Yep. Chiefs are undefeated, and Browns, Giants, and 49ers looking for their first victory this season. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into the NFL picks for this week. And we're going to start off with none other the hardest pick for me all week. It's the Philadelphia Eagles at the Carolina Panthers. I am going to tell you right now, I don't have a pick for this because I am usually against both of these teams, whoever they're playing against. I don't care. I pick the opposite. So I'm simply going to say whatever team you pick, I'm picking the opposite of. So who do you got between the Eagles and the Panthers?
The Eagles are visiting the Panthers, right?
Correct. The Eagles are visiting the Panthers.
All right. So here's the thing. Well, okay. If it was the other way around, I would say that the Panthers were going to win it. But with the Eagles showing enough brass balls in their eagle nest, I don't really know how that works. But the way that they're going, like, Eagles wouldn't pick a fight with a giant hunting cat. Like, no way. Like, they'll defend their eggs or something like that. So I'd imagine that they would be a little bit more better off if they were on the defense. But to be on the offense going after these things, like, the Eagles have lost their damn mind. And they probably have rabies or some sort of, 28 days later virus. That might give them the boost that they need to be able to go after these giant, fierce jungle cats. So I'm going to say the Eagles.
Eagles. That means I am taking the Panthers, I guess. Because I don't know.
Fair.
Okay, next up we have the Chicago Bears at the Baltimore Ravens.
Bears at the Ravens. Man, again, yeah, this is unusual. Like, you don't really have Bears doing anything around October. Like, October is like when they're about to go to bed. Like, unless the Ravens are camping out in their caves, in which case, yeah, wow. So either the Bears have the same friggin', zombie virus that the Eagles do, where they're attacking things that they shouldn't be attacking around this time of year, or the Ravens are squatting in their caves, in which case Bears are pretty territorial about that shit. I mean, their stuff is in there, so they're gonna want it back. I'm gonna say the Bears.
Bears. Very nice. Oh, speaking of, I picked the Ravens. I forgot. I was supposed to say first, but I picked the Ravens on that one. So next up we have the Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. I am going with the Packers. Who do you got?
Packers at the Vikings. No, I think Vikings are going to be a little wise to the Packers' advances. I don't think they're gonna fall for their charming words or their stylish wardrobes or abattoirs, as it were. So I'm thinking that the Vikings are going to see through all that crap and actually just grab their faces and bury them into the ground. I'm going to say the Vikings.
It's so weird with you because every week it seems like the Packers have a different identity. One week they're homosexuals, the next week they, are packing things on a dock. The next week they're warehouse workers. So you're going with the Vikings, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next up we have the San Francisco 49ers at the Washington Redskins. I am going with the Redskins.
Yeah, because that was the one thing the 49ers actually feared back in the day was trying to get back from the minecart to to the town to which they could actually get rid of their gold or the stuff that they found or resupply to go back in again. They didn't want to meet any Redskins along the road during that way because they feared them, and rightly so. Like they were men that knew how to break rocks. That was about it. Not a whole lot of combat value there. So I'm going to say the Redskins.
Redskins as well. That's the first time that we picked the same team. This should be an interesting week for us. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions at the New Orleans Saints. I'm going with Lions. Who do you got?
Typically in history, whenever you had a Saint go up against a Lion, and it happened, it didn't really end too well for the Saint.
There's always that one game that just breaks me with you. Most of the time, I just kind of sit back, I zone out, I just let you do your thing, and I come back in when I hear silence. But I stopped for this one, and I was like, Lions and Saints. Yeah, I'll go with the Lions. What the hell could he possibly say about this? And then, typically the Saints don't fare too well against Lions, and it all at once just hit me, and continue. I can't wait.
Yeah. No, I mean, so, what's the Saints' record right now, anyway?
Oh God. Oh come on. Saints record. They are 2-2.
2-2. All right, so I mean they're doing all right. Unless you're some sort of unless the Saints is being played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, I doubt they're going to be doing much of anything to Lions. Unless the Lions are trying to be bred out of eating meat and survive on tofu and are sickly little skeletons that have rugs draped over them. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Just much like history has taught us, I think the Lion is going to overcome the Saints. So I'm going to say with the Lions.
Lions. Okay. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Atlanta Falcons. I am going with the Falcons. Who do you got?
Dolphins going to the Falcons. I mean, unless they have some sort of mobile, I was gonna say tanks, caterpillared aquariums. Something that actually lets them lead away from water. They're not gonna get very far against these things because unlike the other animals that if they attack when they're not really meant to, it's because of some weird viruses. The dolphins have that. It doesn't make them suddenly be able to survive or move on land. I mean, granted, I know that they breathe air before that happens. They're not fish. I get that. They do actually breathe oxygen, but they're not going to be able to move very far. Um, so it'll probably be like, with as much grace as a dumpster baby. Um, they're not going to get very far. I'm going to say the Falcons are probably going to peck them to death on dry land. The Falcons.
Is it a prom night dumpster baby?
I mean, it doesn't have to wait till prom, but
They could always be the Dolphins from that one Simpsons Treehouse of Horror where they started walking on land and like just kind of overthrew the humans.
didn't see that one.
And it could also be equipped with a trebuchet as opposed to a catapult. But either way, your pick is locked in. Falcons it is. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. I am going to go with the Texans. I want the Browns to win so that the Giants will definitely secure that first round first pick because they are awful. But anyway, I'm going with the Texans. Who do you got?
Mostly this is going to get me in trouble, but
Oh, God.
I will agree with you with the Texans.
Okay.
And we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Next up, we have. I'm going to move right on. Next up, we have the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. I am going to go with the Patriots. Who do you got?
It's a tough call for me. I suppose if you go,
I mean, how could the Patriots do well against Jets in 1942?
well,
Now who's in trouble?
because I was going to go with that angle, actually and legitimately. But okay, we'll say that the Patriots are missiles.
Okay.
In which case, I mean, they kind of have a 50-50 shot here against Jets. I mean, Patriot missiles can shoot down Jets, and Jets can also shoot down Patriot missiles. It's just, it depends on the timing and speed and what have you.
I mean, you could theoretically say that it's going to end in a tie. A football game can end in a tie.
When was the last time it ended in a tie?
It usually happens like once or twice a season.
Oh. I'm going to call it. I will say a tie.
You're going to say a tie game?
Yeah.
All right. Now you realize if a team wins, that gives you a loss.
Exactly.
Okay. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going with the Bucks because I learned my lesson from previous years. Who do you got?
I see, and that's the thing because Cardinals. Yeah, they're on the defensive here. If the Cardinals were on the offensive, I would think that would be. I would give it to them, but they're not. They're on the defensive because I mean they're supposed to be flying south for the winter anyway. And Buccaneers, I mean, while they may not have the ability to fly, they do command parrots, which they do fly. So
now hold on a second. Now why would they fly south for the winter if they live in Arizona?
Arizona's not south enough.
Okay.
Besides, I mean, jet stream and El Nino.
Right.
So yeah, the Buccaneers with their dreaded attack parrots and their wanton use of cannonballs flying through the air. Yeah, no, I don't think the Cardinals are going to stand a chance. I'm going to also say the Buccaneers.
Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going with the Rams. Who do you got?
No, I think even though that they play a mean game and they're able to traverse such dangerous terrain, I honestly think that the Jaguars are going to win this one. Rams are too meaty of a team to win against them, and they're just going to be hungry for it. So Jaguars.
I'll be honest with you, it's a tough call for me. I kind of almost wanted to go with the Jaguars, but I think the Rams are going to take it. But anyway, next up is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Oakland Raiders. I am going with the Raiders. Who do you have?
In this matchup, both of these are offensive teams. Chargers will charge. I mean, otherwise they're stationaries, and stationaries just doesn't quite have the same kind of menacing tone to it. And Raiders, I mean, they're only doing stuff when they're raiding. If they're not raiding, they're just loitering. So instead of being the stationaries versus the loiterers, it's the Chargers versus the Raiders,
I'd
and
watch
the
that.
Chargers are the ones on the offense. So I'm going to say the Chargers.
I would 100% watch that. Okay, next up we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Just laughing about when the Browns win against the Steelers. I'm going with the
uh,
Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs in this game. What do you got?
yeah. Um. Hmm. See, I'm kind of torn here because the thing with it is that depending on how you look at it, I mean, Chiefs kind of have stuff stolen from them historically. I mean, they got a little bit left, but definitely nowhere near what they had beforehand. And while the Chiefs have been on a roll lately, I think the Steelers are going to hand them their first loss.
Okay, going with the Steelers.
Yeah, because the last thing they have left to not be stolen is a perfect record. And, I mean, yeah,
Ah,
Steelers are probably going to
clever.
take that.
Clever. Okay. Next up, we have. I'm embarrassed by this one. The New York Giants at the Denver Broncos. I am going with the Broncos. Not only am I going with the Broncos, but I'm starting the Broncos defense on my fantasy. So I am sorry I am sorry to whoever I'm going against because the Broncos are going to rock up so many points against the Giants. The Giants' offense is god awful right now, and as if they weren't bad enough, all of them just got injured. So
Yeah,
you can tell me as much as you want that a Giant's going to step on a horse or whatever voodoo nonsense you're about to say. The Broncos are winning this game, Andy.
no, and I would have to agree with you because I mean the Giants have just been just bumbling all over the place. Like they're the same Giants that are in the Jack and the Beanstalk era and they fell out the cloud. Like they just hit the ground with a head injury and haven't been able to climb back up the beanstalk.
Fee,
And
fi, fo, fumble all over the
yes,
place.
see now
Broncos
you're
it
getting the
is.
spirit of it. Yes,
Broncos it is. Last but not least, another horse team. We have the Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. I am going with the Titans on this one. What do you got?
Yeah, where the Broncos could be able to get rid of the bumbling Giants or get around them or outmaneuver them. Colts are pretty quick. I'd say they're quicker than Broncos, but Titans have a little bit more mass to them. I'm gonna say that the Titans are gonna do it. It's kind of like getting hit with a swarm of gnats that can't fly. Like, oh look, they're cute, they're crawling, but they're not gonna do anything. Shoo, horsey.
So I'm looking this list over one last time, and I'm just like, wow, this is pretty good. This is pretty good, diverse. What's that tie? What? Oh, right, he picked for a tie. So I already forgot what it is. All right, week 6 picks. Let's see if I can spell picks right this time. There we go. And that is in the book, saved. And the only thing we have left here is to name this episode and get out of here.
All right.
Obviously, getting away from meth titties.
Get away from meth titties.
No, it says getting away from meth titties.
Getting away from meth titties. Okay. I mean, I kind of like meth titties. It's just fun to say.
I
Don't meth with titties.
don't meth with Szechuan meth titties. Oh no! Singaporean meth titties.
Singaporean meth titties. Love it.
That's a
My
good
my hero.
one.
Don't poke them titties.
That'll do it for this week's episode. Episode number 54, Singaporean meth titties. Of this week's episode of the Side Splitters. I am just jumbled there. Let me try that again. Let me try not to fee fi fo fumble it this time.
A close second.
That'll do it for this week's edition of the Side Splitters. Episode number 54, Singaporean meth titties. There we go.
There you go.
My name is
Oh,
Lyle.
man. And my name is Singapore the Toothpicker.
See you next week, folks.
Bye.